Nia Onelicat. As I understand it, people who have in the past been receiving psychiatric care for things like a suicide attempt are illegal to be audited and cannot move up the bridge in the body they are said to have now. What happens to those people that are in Scientology? Do they just get thrown around in lower courses with no chance to reach clear or higher OT levels? I know that some Scientologists have committed suicide believing they will return in another body. I can't help but wonder if there is some sort of pressure or suggestion from the Church of Scientology on these people to actually go through with a suicide to be able to return and go up the bridge. All right, what you're referring to is called the illegal PC or illegal pre-clear policy, and that policy has actually changed recently. Somebody sent me a copy of the new version of that, and the restrictions and guidelines as to who is an illegal PC and why they'd be labeled that way have fallen way down. They lowered the bar quite a bit. It used to be that any extensive psychiatric history or institutional history instantly labeled a person as illegal. In other words, they cannot receive formal auditing in the Church of Scientology. Hubbard was all down on psychiatry and said that we in Scientology are not here to clean up their messes, and so, they're not legal for auditing because they're too rough, they're too hard to deal with, and also, of course, he also said that psychiatry would implant people and send them in to the Church of Scientology in order to be agent saboteurs and provocateurs and mess everything up, right? Like, he actually thought that psychiatry cared enough about Scientology that they were sending plants in to mess things up. If it happened once or twice, but please give me a break. It's just paranoia on Hubbard's part. So as a result of this policy, a lot of people over the years who had been prescribed Prozac or Zoloft or, whatever, were deemed labeled illegal PCs, and they couldn't get auditing. And so what was suggested to them was to do Scientology training. And so they would be, sold a lot of books and a lot of training. And then they were told to do what was called a petition, where they would write up, they would do this training. They would try to be good Scientologists for a long time and, pass out books and help out at the church and do their training and become auditors themselves and audit other people. And the idea was, if you could show that you could do that and you could be a productive, contributing, helpful member of Scientology without getting auditing, but doing all this other stuff, then you could put a petition together and send it up to the high technical people in Scientology saying, hey, look, I've done this training, I'm a good person, I was on the psych drugs, or I had the institutional history, or I had the electric shock treatments, but I've done this and this and this in Scientology, which proves that I'm a really good person, so can I now get some auditing, right? Sometimes, and it was totally arbitrary, sometimes these petitions would get approved, and sometimes they would get rejected. And it was all a coin toss, really, as to what mood the high technical people were in that day as to whether the person was going to get approved or not. Money was also a factor. If you had a person who was deemed an illegal PC, but they were donating, hand over fist amounts of money, hey, suddenly they're not so illegal anymore. And a good example of this is actually Bob Duggan, who was one of the single most, in fact, I think he's the single highest donator to Scientology ever. Like, the guy's given over millions and millions and millions of dollars. And I noticed that he's been doing Scientology services. Well, he used to be an illegal PC. So, I guess money talks, right? Now, like I said, they changed that policy recently to lower the bar because, of course, in the modern world, so many people have been given psychiatric medications or psychotropic medications, even if it was prescribed by a medical doctor, that Scientology was faced with this problem of, wow, we got so many people coming in here who have had this background of this, and we can't audit any of them. So the policy just became untenable, and so they lowered the bar. And now it's not even a matter of technical review, it's a matter of OSA, the Office of Special Affairs, are the ones who determine whether a person is or isn't okay for auditing, which has made it, again, purely a political tool within Scientology's ranks. So that's how that goes.